Okay, I was talking about Mapletree commercial. Right, so this counter is looking good, so that's why I like to highlight. Another counter that I would like to highlight here, right, is Capital One Trust. Okay, right, this counter technically that there's still a potential for it to go higher because I see the sign of uptrend. It's just that it has been struggling at the resistance level, right, over here at 2.02, where it couldn't really have a clean breakout. Okay, it can't really break out from there yet, but we give it a chance for it to break out because we can still see that the uptrend is still intact, and the next high that it should go up to is around here, about 210. Right, this counter, as most of you would know, that is doing a merger with its sister company, Capital Commercial, to form one of the biggest REITs in Singapore. Right, and this is a very positive move anticipated by most of the analysts outside. So we'll just go with the trend, and if the trend is bullish, we should follow through. And once they merge, I believe that we can start to see some value being so-called realized or reflected in the market. Then if that is so, then we may start to see the share price goes higher, maybe even higher than 2.24. Okay. Well, talking about this counter, I must make some disclaimer because I had traded this counter. I finally added this counter into my portfolio. Okay, not to promote this counter, but I'm just talking about the trend. Okay, so I added when I posted in my email. So over here, when it was 1.99, just recently. So I'm waiting for it to break out and go higher. And from here, then we would want to, of course, like I say, want to see it go to 2.10, okay, 2.10 or even higher. As of my own so-called trade or investment, I kind of like think that I'll keep this counter for a long term for dividend as of now, rather than realizing short-term profit for the time being. So I hope that after they merge, the yield is about 4% to 5%, then it will be more attractive for me to hold. Rather than if 2-3%, I would go for the profit rather than just go for dividend yield. Okay. So so far we have been talking about the risks that there are. I think the only counters that we can talk about, because the other sectors really weak. Like earlier on, we talked about the medical counters. They are really weak. I think once upon a time, everybody is also having fever with this medtech. Like I said the last time, the earnings was good, but there's no reason for it to go downtrend. But unfortunately, this is how the market has a different view. And when the market start to move it and start to form downtrend, right, we should not argue with the chart and then just follow through. So this is why I have also, took my position off this counter. In fact, the last time I had the Top Gloves, Riverstone, MACTech, so I took off all the counters and start to restart again. Okay, so wait until the whole market is clear where it's moving back to uptrend. Then this is where we consider adding trades into this counter. Okay. Then other than that, we're going to talk about the weak sector like the AEM. Right. I put AEM in my email because there was a strong profit guidance released last Thursday, where the profit was guided upwards. So in fact, this provided a very strong sign that this counter has strong earnings going forward till December. So that's why I decided to follow through on this bullish Harami signal, right? But unfortunately, this counter did not continue to go up. In fact, it tried to go up, but at the end of the day, tend to have a lot of seller to push it down. So this kind of signs tells you that, you know, to get immediate profit out of this counter, it may not happen anytime soon. So this is where you know, you must be prepared, right? If you like to trade this counter, you must prepare to hold onto this counter, right? Hold onto this counter, right, for a longer ride. So now it's still not out of the wood yet. So it still can potentially form downtrend and go down further. Okay, so if it doesn't break here, or it doesn't break up here, okay, then comes down here, then you can start to see the formation of a downtrend. For a short-term downtrend, with the company confidently give a profit guidance that is that strong, so I believe that the downtrend may present a opportunity for us to add position rather than cut out of this position. So I'm not so worried about this counter, but rather when is the next time or the next best price for me to add position into this counter is what I'm waiting for. So I've added one position, so I'm prepared to add another one going forward if this counter were to either go down or go up. So if it go up, I'll add position at a higher price. If it come down, then I will start to look for an entry, something like here. If there is a hammer, right, for us to refer to, or it forms a nice signal at the support level like this. Okay, so you can see indicators that are strong, forming bullish signals. Then this is where you can start to look for an entry as well. Okay, of course, you can see the other text counters as well, like UMS, they are weak as well. So I mentioned the other time where you have to watch for the support. If the support doesn't break, it means that it is still okay. But then once it starts to break down, then you got to be careful. So this counter breaks down and the volume is not as low. So got to watch out. There might be some more weakness coming, especially the recent rebound does not push this counter back above the MA. Right, so you got to look out for further weakness if it doesn't go up higher. But UMS, similar to AEM, it has a very good fundamental. So I would say that if it goes further, then you can start to look for entry to enter into this counter, or even keep for long term, because UMS do pay a good dividend, as you can see from here, right? These are the dividends that have been paid previously, and there's another CD coming. So I think UMS is still a good prospect going forward, just that the market is not really looking at them and just pushing them down. Okay. So some of the fringe counter, like for example, high P, it's not doing well as well. Okay. So you can start to see formations that tells you that you should get out of high P. Example here. Okay, so this is a sort of like a double top formation, right? And when it start to have a rebound here, over here, right? It fails to follow through and you start to experience selling over here. Okay, so with this, so it can tell you that the counter is weak and it may continue to go down further. But how low is going to go? Right, of course, we're going to look at the support level. Right, and of course, coupled with some projection here, right? We can also couple with some projection because of this topish formation. This formation, sorry, yeah. Let me just admit some more participants over here. So if it fails to hold at this range of support at 106 to 110, right, then can start to see this counter continue to go lower, right? Or you can look at this counter that it may go lower to at least 1, as the projection says. Okay, so we see some support here. This counter managed to find support at 110 and close higher. So the next is how would it rebound? So will I get into this counter? I will say no, not yet. But why do I share with you this counter? Because this counter, just to tell you how the stocks it can go up and how it can come down. So when you start to see signs that it's not favorable, it's bearish, then this is where you can start to exit the position first and then wait for a clearer picture. Then you start to reposition yourself into this counter. Okay. So so with this, right, then you can start to look at what or think about what you are looking at tomorrow. So maybe some of the sector that are still bullish, you can start to consider. Right, this one slow and steady. This one is bullish, just waiting for the next entry. Right, this is as well. Okay, and some sectors to avoid, especially downtrending one. Although no doubt the earnings are going to be good, but I'm not sure why the market is selling them down. So we just keep ourselves clear first, stay ourselves clear first before we take any action into this counter. Okay. Then, of course, for those who would like to look at the blue chips, right? You look at the DBS, it is almost similar to STI, where it is moving down for now. And today it seems like trying to break low over here, but it's just a small, a subtle break. So it's not convincing yet. So tomorrow we got to see how, right? If you are following OCBC as well, right? You can also see downtrend, okay, and UOB. So this are the times where the banks are pretty weak, okay, and this explains why our index are weak. So basically, I would say that the banks now are undervalued, and it is, of course, for us to look at a good time for us to buy for long term if you are interested in holding the banks here for long term. So probably somewhere lower, right? Like UOB, we have 1865, right? OCBC, we have some low here, 850, and then followed by 835. Okay, then we have DBS, right? Then here, of course, DBS, you can start to imagine how low it can be if it fails to hold at this low, right? The imagination can run wild to go as low as 1928. Okay, if that is the case, maybe you can start to snatch DBS at the low here. Okay, so so this is where I've covered most of the, some of the stocks that I would like to talk about in the Singapore market. Right, the next, I just want to share very quickly with you the US market. So before the start of the Zoom meeting, in fact, I've done some screening, and then I've been looking at some of the charts. So this morning, if you saw my email, I actually talked about Alibaba Hong Kong. Okay, so Alibaba US is actually right at the 20-day MA over here. Okay, very similar to the Hong Kong chart. Right. So we'll put it side by side. Then you can see it's very similar. So what they need is they need to push up above the 20-day MA. Okay, so you got to push up above the 20-day MA. So in order to start to go back to where it was at the high, right over here for the US version. Then we have the Hong Kong version. So the price is always a difference of $7 to $8, right? For the Hong Kong one, it's usually slightly lower, but the US one will be slightly higher. So if tonight, the future is right now pretty green, and we have a chance to see BABA close above 279, then you can see BABA goes all the way up to 299. I'm pretty positive about this counter because of the Ant Finance that they are going to IPO in October. So this will actually unlock some of the values in BABA, where you can see Ant Finance actually is going for a 30 billion IPO. Okay, so I'll be looking out for BABA tonight. And some of the counters that I've traded, this counter I've traded right just recently, just a few days ago actually, right, is this CRM. It has a very fantastic result, and it's right now sitting at the 20-day MA. So it is only clearly that this counter is bullish if it can, clear up above 257. Okay, if it goes up above 257, clear up 257 level, right, then this is where you can tell me that it has a strong chance to hit 284. Okay, so I have went in at 250, about 250 range. Okay, 250.88 actually. So I have a cut loss at about 236, or I may not cut loss because the fundamental of this counter is strong. So I may just wait out. So in order to wait out, of course, I need to hold a little bit longer to see another possibility of entering into this counter, be it at a lower price, or I may add on position once it start to clear 257. Okay, so I'll be watching closely, of course, having this counter. BABA, I have also entered as well. I enter at the price of 273, but I'm a bit of a risk taker because I enter on this particular day, and the next day it sell down on me. Of course, why I'm taking a risk here, because it haven't really cleared the 20-day MA, then I enter already. So of course, the best scenario is it must clear above the 20-day MA, then we can start to see more upside. Okay, I'm using the MA because the stocks in the US is bullish uptrend. So when the market is bullish uptrend, you can use the MA. Sideway, not so. Okay, downtrend, of course, you use the MA as a resistance, right? Then we have, I've screened out this counter, right? You might hear of this counter because of COVID, it started to resurrect and then have been one of the top counters in the US. Okay, this counter is called Walmart. Okay, the interesting part about this counter is it is sitting at its favorite support level. Okay, so sitting at this support level, right, gives an opportunity for trader, right, to enter into these stocks. So of course, right, you might want, if you are looking at this counter, you might be looking at it to hit at least 138, right? And of course, it cannot go below 134, right? So if it goes below 134, there's a risk of more downwards movement, and the target is somewhere about here at 151, right? The high there, okay? But having stated this level doesn't mean that I will just follow through and look at 138 first. I will still look at the intraday chart. So I will let the market open for the first hour. I'll just let it run, and then I will use my 5-minute chart as I've shared with you many times for those who have been joining the webinar religiously. I talk about how I look for entry in the US market, because it's not as straightforward as the Singapore market. It moves up and down so fast. So it's good that we don't chase this counter at the high. Okay, so just to share again. Okay, so you have to, if you are looking at the US market, you have to use the live charts that is provided in the platform in Lim and Tan. Okay, so just use the live charts over here. So you will load and you start to look at the intraday. So you can look at say you're looking at WMT tonight. So the site is a bit slow now. Okay, so here, you can switch over to the 5-minute chart. Okay, so from the 5-minute chart, right, the first hour it may be strong because the future is up right now, so there might be some gap up action. So you let it gap up and then let it run all the way to the high as it is supposed to run. And then the next action is to watch for the 20-day MA, which is represented by Bollinger Band over here. Okay, so you just look at where the line is and then start to place your entry based on the line here. Okay, a typical example is something like that. So you start to see the stocks goes all the way up. You don't chase it, right? You just let it go up higher and higher until to a point, right? You start to see pullback. Okay, do take note. At this point of time, it's just 10:30 p.m. Just 10:30 p.m. And then you just need to place your entry at 137, right? And then wait for it to hit before it start to rebound higher, right? So after you have entered, of course, you got to switch back to a daily chart to watch for your profit target and stop loss. Now, of course, after you have entered, it doesn't guarantee that you will straight away go up. So you have to watch for your daily stop loss, your stop loss level at your daily chart, okay, and then wait for the real action to come in. So you can do that when you are looking for an entry in the US market. Okay. I'm so sorry that there are still people coming in right now. So I'm coming to the end of the Zoom meeting. For those who have missed the Zoom meeting, okay, I'm seeing Thomas coming in. Okay, I will be posting this into YouTube, and then if you want to review this video, you can ask for the link from me, and I will share with you through WhatsApp. Okay, so I will give you the link to WhatsApp so that you can review this video on your own free time. So I believe that some of you may be busy at work and then find time to join this meeting. I appreciate that. So I will be, like I say, posting this into YouTube. Okay, and do get the link from me. Right. Other than that, I'm actually done tonight. So just quickly review with everyone what I've talked about. Basically, tonight I'll be watching this Baba, CRM, Walmart, right? Of course, NVIDIA is in news, right? Everybody heard about NVIDIA news. They are buying ARMs from this SoftBank. So I don't really like the candle yesterday. Just watching, see whether it can break out again. And it is pretty far away from its resistance. So there might be a chance for it to rebound back above the resistance. The everybody's favorite Apple, right? You can see a small hammer forming here. So if you are interested, you may start to look at hammer of the Apple. So rather, you can start to look at Apple, right? And whether there's any confirmation for this hammer, right? Do remember, don't chase on the breakout. Just wait for it to pull back during intraday. US is pretty liquid. Don't need to chase high. Just wait for it to pull back at the low, right? And yeah, so that's what I have for you tonight. Okay, so I'll see you in 2 weeks time. So if you have any friends who wish to open an account with me and join us in this Zoom meeting, feel free to invite them. You can prompt me first. You can PM me first, and then this is where we can start to know things ahead. Okay, so. So with that, thank you for joining me tonight, and good night to you, and goodbye.